to the Fandom Academy podcast. I'm here with my beautiful and brilliant co-hosts CJ and Layla. How you guys doing today?
I'm doing swell. Big things happening today. Me and Layla both currently have the live stream open of Sao Paulo Night 3 of the Eras Tour, because we think there might be a little announcement coming. So we are dressed in black and ready, and I'm excited to talk about a lot of
Yeah,
stuff
I'm
today.
I'm on edge. I'm gonna be on edge this whole time. I have the live stream pulled up, and I'm just waiting for her to walk out in a different Reputation outfit and announce Reputation Taylor's version. I'm so scared. But anyways, let's put that to the side for now. We'll get there. We'll see if we're clowning or not. We have a great fun episode today, and I'm really excited to talk about the Hunger Games finally because I finally watched it this week. And yeah, let's go.
Absolutely, yeah. Before we get into our major Taylor stuff here, CJ this past week has seen Saltburn. So CJ, take it away.
So this is something I'm very excited to talk about, and I've been extremely excited to talk about since I saw the movie. I went into this movie knowing that Jacob Elordi and Barry Keoghan were in it, and that Barry Keoghan licked up Jacob Elordi's cum. That is all I know from this all I knew going into the movie. And I walked out with that movie being one of my favorite movies of the year. The one I've always said this, one of the biggest compliments I can ever give to a movie is that throughout the entire movie, I have no idea
Hmm.
what's coming next, where this is going. Examples I can think of, like Barbarian, was very similar to me, but this just had me on the edge of my seat. There were moments I would have to look around to the people I was sitting next to in the theater and just be like, "What the fuck? Are we watching the same movie?" It was wild. It was definitely not what I expected. It was honestly, it kind of gave this movie right here, but like a more like 2010s ish, like almost like kind of campy, like almost like sleigh type version of it, like a
Yesified.
more, I don't even know how to say it. Like, yeah, like a yassified version of American Psycho. It was very fun. The cast delivered. Jacob Elordi is so fine in this movie, like unreal. Rosamund Pike, who plays the mom of the Saltburn family, is just phenomenal throughout this entire movie. And Barry Keoghan proves time and time again that if you cast this man in your movie, he will deliver a all-time performance. He is fantastic. Every movie he's been in, he's probably my favorite part. I know Eternals, he stole the show from me. He was my favorite part of Banshees. He's amazing in this. He's becoming one of my favorite actors. I think he's phenomenal. In this movie, he takes a character that is supposed to be your like not fitting in, like your outcast type character, and turns it into one of the most complex sadistic characters I've ever seen in movies. And there's this one part of the movie, it's like this his birthday party, and he has just the most iconic fit I've ever seen in a movie, I think. I instantly am like, I want to wear this for Halloween next year. It's so badass. It's so cool. And it's so simple, yet it fits the character perfectly. I just love this movie so much. And a shout out to the cinematography too, because there were some shots in this movie, and the way they play with lighting and like color was really fun. There was this one scene where they're sitting at the dining room table and they start to close curtains, which is so simple, you would think, but it completely changes the color of the room. It makes it this dark, sadistic red, and it is so good in terms of like what's happening in the movie. I don't want to do spoilers, like the I don't know, the I'm thinking of the word, situation they're in and the environment that's surrounding them, and it just is so good. I could talk about this movie for hours. Right now, I put it on Letterbox after immediate watching, like my number three movie of the year,
Whoa.
only behind Barbie and Across the Spider Verse. Like it was phenomenal. I want to watch it again so bad. I'll probably end up going this week, next week or so. It's just phenomenal. If there's one thing about me, if you put a fucked up movie on my TV screen, I'll probably enjoy it. Like I'll probably enjoy it. It's I can't give enough compliments. It's just fantastic.
Yeah, it's honestly been on my list of like most anticipated, just given the cast. And I like you, I kind of I'm gonna go into it not really knowing anything, other than that it's a great movie, and that's really nice to know, especially because it's been on my list for a while now. But yeah, I'm excited to see what Barry Keoghan can do in that, especially Jacob Elordi, and seeing that connection and that relationship kind of blossom between those two. That's gonna be so much fun.
It's
But yeah, we're getting pretty close to this Eras tour.
about 60 minutes away.
Yeah.
I'm terrified. And speaking of the Eras Tour, tonight is the last show of 2023 until February, I believe. It's been going on for a long time. There's been some great moments. It's just been like the most iconic tour ever. It's everything beyond I ever dreamed it to be. I can't wait to experience it next year. But like I said, so much has happened, and we're gonna talk about some of our favorite moments from the Eras tour. I know there's quite a few iconic moments. I love seeing the videos of like the Eras tour where like everything goes wrong and like all of like the mistakes that happen on stage. They're like my favorite things to watch. But CJ, let's start with you. What's been some of your favorite moments from the Eras tour so far?
So I'll drop two because one of them's pretty biased, so I feel like I have to do two. But the first one is my bias one, and that is from Cincinnati Night 2, where Taylor Swift brought out Gracie Abrams for surprise songs to perform I Miss You, I'm Sorry. And this is very, very cool for multiple reasons. Number one, it's one of the few times she's brought out a guest other than
Yeah,
Jack or Aaron, which is very fun. I'm lucky I got to see it. But another very cool thing that happened is I'm a big fan of Gracie Abrams, and this is probably her biggest career moment to date.
100%.
Performing on stage at this tour with Taylor Swift is just massive, and you could tell how nervous how she was and how excited Taylor was to give her that moment. Easily one of my favorite moments from tour. I'm so glad I got to witness it live. I'll never live it down. It's
Yeah.
amazing. And another one is very recent, and that's with this Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift romance blossoming. Karma's the guy on the Chiefs caught me so off guard. I remember seeing that, and I was just like, huh? She did not. She's crazy. And I don't really have much to say other than that woman is insane. She is crazy, and I love her for
That
it.
whole night, I just remember waking up after that show and seeing the video, and someone like titled there was a tweet and it was like Karma is the guy in the Chiefs, and I was like, oh, that's clever, like whoever made that up, and then I was like, oh, it was Taylor who did that, like it wasn't a fan that did that, and like the video of her running off stage, like to Travis, just oh, that whole show was amazing. Um, Also Gracie, I'm a huge fan of Gracie, and I hope for the life of me that when we see Taylor next year, that she brings out Haley for Castles Crumbling, because the Speak Now vault tracks are some of my favorite. I'll probably say they're my favorite vault tracks that she's released. And Castles Crumbling is just a perfect song, and I will die if she brings Haley out. One of my favorite moments, also relating to the Speak Now era, was the night she debuted the I Can See You music video, and she brought out Joey King and Taylor Lautner onto the stage. Um, that whole like time was so chaotic. I feel like Taylor was coming and doing backflips onto the stage, and everyone was just like, "What year is this? First of all, like, where are we? Like, what is going on?" And that music video is so iconic, and, like, the teasers in that set everyone off, like, the 1989 teasers in that video, it was just, like, a whole thing. And the videos of Taylor, like, reacting to the video, like, she's, like, sat on the stage, like, all excited watching the video for the first time. Yeah, that's probably one of my, like
The video of her
yeah,
looking
and,
at the
like, turn
fan and being
around.
like, "Don't look at me, look at the music video."
Yeah, that was
So
such a funny
iconic.
night. And I Can See You still remains one of my favorite Taylor songs. So yeah, I think that's one of my favorite moments. Jaden, you've been like a quiet spectator of our Taylor Swift madness, but do you have any favorite moments from the Eras tour?
Considering, especially with all the Travis Kelce stuff, like I've never been super invested in like the relationship status of Taylor
Hmm.
Swift, and I've always just kind of been a listener of her music. But now that I'm like actually a part of the, keeping up with the lore of her love life, it was so crazy. The Karma is the guy on the Chief. That was a lot of fun for me, especially because this is my first time really immersing myself in that whole fandom and kind of identifying myself as a Swiftie now. So yeah, that was a lot of fun for me.
Yeah, there's been some great moments.
Iconic moment.
Yeah,
And also just like the announcement of all of her albums, re-records like 1989 and Speak Now, like iconic moments. Like I will always remember Speak Now was kind of out of the blue. We all kind of knew it was coming
yeah,
soon, but it was like night 2 in Nashville, like it wasn't even
yeah.
night 1, where she was just like, "I'm gonna announce Speak Now," and jealous of everyone who was there because those Speak Now songs they got when they announced the album, I believe it was Sparks
I think
Fly.
so, yeah.
Great song.
And Back to December, was
So
that there too?
that one was cool. No, Back to December came out like it was on the back end of the
Oh,
tour. Like that survived a
I'm
long
surprised at that.
time. That was
Yeah.
surprising for me. But 1989 as well. When those she
Mhm.
came out in the
Oh
blue
my
fits
god.
for 1989, people lost their
Yeah.
minds. So that was such a cool thing to
Yeah.
do for her. Like the blue enchanted dress was just
And, like, I
unreal. And
I was
hopefully
gonna say, I feel
in
like
6 minutes
that's
we'll
why I'm
get
so in
new fame.
denial of Reputation being nice because she hasn't worn anything black, like, out of the ordinary. I know a lot of people there, like Tree and people from her team,
Uh,
and all of her dancers are in, like, black shiny outfits. I'm just like, I don't know. I feel like she would've hinted at something, or is it that she wouldn't, and it's just like there will be no explanation, there will just be Reputation. I don't know.
Reputation,
I'm
yeah.
scared, guys. It's coming.
We're 6 minutes away from we have the live streams up, we're 6 minutes away, but while we're waiting on those 6 minutes, we still can talk about the surprise songs,
Mhm. I
which it really could go, I think,
Yeah,
one of 2
yeah,
ways. I think if we are getting Reputation, I Did Something Bad is the
yeah.
obvious choice. But if we're not getting Reputation and we're just all sat here in clown makeup for the bajillionth
Mhm.
time, I think Christmas Tree Farm is a good
Yeah.
shout. It's her last show before Christmas. We're officially in Christmas season. If she's gonna play it, tonight's the night.
Yeah.
So I think that would be cool. Layla, what are you
I do
thinking?
keep thinking about I Did Something Bad because I'm in 2 minds of whether she would announce it during the Reputation set or during the surprise song set. Like, I feel like if the Reputation set was after the surprise songs, it would be a different story, but it's not. So I'm really in 2 minds about that. If she doesn't sing I Did Something Bad in the Reputation set and then for the surprise songs, I feel like that would be kind of I don't know, like, I feel like it would just hit harder if it was during the Reputation set and she was like, "Guess what? Here we are, Taylor's version." Um, but I don't know, I'm trying to think what songs are left. I think Christmas Tree Farm is a good option, but honestly, the one I've been surprised has lasted this long, honestly, is Dear Reader. I think that could be one to go
Mhm.
soon. I think that's held on for long enough.
Ones that are still left too that I'm surprised is The Way I Loved You has not been sung
Oh,
yet, and that is like one of my favorite vault tracks
yeah.
from Fearless. I think it's a vault track. Hope hope it is. Clowning myself right now. But I love that song. It's one of my favorites off Fearless, and I'm shocked it
Mhm.
hasn't been sung yet. Also, we got Safe and Sound last night, which Hunger Games is so back, baby. We'll get into that in
Yeah.
a little bit. The Hunger Games are back, and if she wants to continue that trend, I mean, Eyes Open
Yeah,
is still there, still waiting to
yeah.
be sung. So that would be so
Now
great.
that I know that, like, Safe and Sound and Eyes Open are options, I mean, we've talked about this, I would fucking die if she started singing Crazier. Hannah Montana the movie was my shit growing up. I mean, I used to dress up as Hannah Montana, like, I never used to leave the house without my zebra print, high heel, cowboy Hannah Montana boots, like, this is a serious story. I literally never left the house without them. Hannah Montana was my shit. So when Taylor is in Hannah Montana movie and she sings Crazier, it's one of my favorite, like, throwback Disney Channel songs, if you can class it as that. I mean, obviously it's a Taylor song, but I would literally lose my shit. And the fact I'm going with my sisters too, and obviously CJ, Hannah Montana the movie was, oh my god, Reputation starting. It's the same outfit. Okay. Sorry, I got distracted. Um, the fact I'm going with my sisters, like, Hannah Montana the movie is one of our favorite Disney Channel films, so if she started singing Crazier while we were all in the room, we would just all die. Oh my god, CJ.
It's terrifying, bro. I'm
Wait,
scared.
where is this live stream? I'll put it up myself.
It's
Taylor Swift Hockey Bro on YouTube. Plug Kevin, who hosts this podcast or this, I guess, reaction every live stream every week or every show, so every weekend. But he kills it. We're here though. Oh God, I'm scared.
This is so exciting for me. I'm so excited to be here to watch you guys react to this right now.
I can't wait for it to be the same damn fit.
I think it is. Oh fuck.
It is. It's the same fit. Fuck.
What's she singing?
Ready for it.
Okay, okay. We've still got the rest of the set. We've still got the rest of the set.
Well,
Here we are.
nothing yet. Fingers still crossed. That by the end of the night, me and Layla might have to shower off that clown makeup we're wearing, along with. Well, I guess if we're not getting it yet, we might as well move on with
How
our
do you want me to
episode.
move on right now?
Away from the Taylor talk for now. Pull yourself together. We got this.
It's okay. I'll keep it right there. Okay.
Well, last night, speaking of surprises, Survivor Series War Games happened in the wrestling world, and we've got one of the biggest surprises, I think, in WWE we've had in probably years. CM Punk returned to WWE last night after long absence. He recently left AEW, and this is kind of why I was like, I don't think we're going to get him. He left AEW not on the best terms. He was fired from his contract with cause due to altercations backstage. And obviously, his relationship with WWE was pretty much non existent at that point. I mean, he had burned every bridge there that he could. But it's a cold day in hell. Hell is frozen over, and CM Punk is back in WWE with one of the loudest pops I have ever heard in his hometown of Chicago. I was shocked. I was sitting in this room last night watching, and they even put up the copyright banner. Like, you really thought the show was over, and then you just hear that and I was like, oh my God, it happened. My jaw was on the floor. I am very, very, very excited to see where we go next with CM Punk. Obviously, some people in WWE do not have the best relationship with him. Seth Rollins comes off the top of my head as someone who Seth Rollins called him, I think, a cancer to the wrestling industry at one point. So obviously they're not on good terms.
Right.
But honestly, if they can put differences aside, that is a program I would love to watch. I'd be so interested. Seth has the world title right now too, so it would make a lot of sense. I think they could put on great matches. It's just a matter of if he's willing to work with them, which I think they're both I hope they're both professional enough where they'd be willing to do so. I'm excited. There's so many possibilities. Obviously, Cody Rhodes there is going to be one that a lot of people are going to be excited to watch too. They both kind of came into WWE originally at around the same time. So they're on very weirdly similar career paths. They both left WWE around the same time too. Both were a part of AEW, and now they're both back. So a lot of storylines that can be told. I'm very excited to see where it goes. But aside from CM Punk, War Games was a phenomenal show. The women's War Game match really blew me away. I thought it was phenomenal. The War Games matches will just always hit. The chaos of the double rings, the cages, the trash cans, the kendo sticks, the tables, the chairs. It's amazing. It's just chaos in a cage, and I love it so much. It's just so different from everything else we get in wrestling. And I will always be seated Thanksgiving weekend for Survivor Series. It's just a great time.
We love to see it. I wish I watched more. Like, I feel like it's such an like I used to watch so much when I was younger, like WWE, and AEW is newer to me. I actually didn't know that was a thing until recently because of how often you were talking about it, and Liam talked about it, and so I follow him a lot. But yeah, that sounds so exciting. I should really get back.
I really
into it.
want to too.
It's a great time to be a wrestling
I remember
fan.
really I enjoyed WrestleMania. I did fall asleep halfway through, but the bits I saw of WrestleMania I really enjoyed, so maybe I should get back into it.
Mhm.
The Logan Paul Seth Rollins match. I remember you being so into that, and then when Seth showed up, I will always remember Layla being so invested.
That
in that
honestly,
match.
that was the highlight of the night. Okay, I really enjoyed that. Speaking of people fighting in a cage-like environment, the Hunger Games is back. The Hunger Games is fucking back. The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes finally released last week. Was it last week? It was last week, right? Yeah,
Yes, last
last
Friday.
Friday.
Mhm.
And yeah, we are so back. We are so back. I went and saw it. I know CJ, Jaden, have you seen it yet? Oh, so we've
Yeah,
all
yeah,
seen
I've
it.
seen it,
Me and
yeah.
Okay,
Jaden saw it
perfect.
together. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah,
I've seen
yeah.
it twice. I saw
oh
it
my
again
god, I
yesterday.
really.
I'm back in
Oh
my
my
Hunger
god,
Games
yeah.
era. Not even back. This is my first Hunger Games era, and I'm
Yeah,
so in it.
so we'll all give like our initial reactions, and then let's do like our ranking of all 5 Hunger Games films. Um yeah, I'll start. I really, 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 really loved the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. I loved the book. I read the book when it came out. I think they did such a great job at adapting these characters into live action. I think Rachel did a fucking phenomenal job as Lucy Gray, and Tom did an amazing job as young Snow. I keep saying this, but I'm so disappointed in myself having a crush on President Snow, but like it's fine. We move. We don't think about it.
It's
It's
so
just
valid.
it
It's
is
so
valid, but it's
valid.
like this should not be happening right now. Um I thought it was a great film. I was very surprised by how musical it was, which might sound a bit stupid, clue in the title, but that bit really caught me off guard. But I really enjoyed it. I'm a sucker for a good musical, and when you've got a voice like Rachel does, you can't be mad about it. I really enjoyed every single moment of this film. Yeah. CJ, how did you like it?
So Hunger Games: The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes was so weird for me because usually when I see movies over time, I end up liking them
Mhm.
less. This was the opposite. I saw The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, and I was like, yeah, this was a good movie, but it's not anything like that has blown me away. And then an hour passed,
Mhm.
3 hours passed, 2 weeks passed, and it's just like I love this movie. I'm obsessed with it now. It's like the more I thought about it, the more things I realized, oh shit, that
Yeah.
connected to this and this connected to that. And this was referring to this and blah, blah, blah. And then I went and saw it again and I was just like, holy fuck, this movie is so, so
Mhm.
good. Like Rachel Zegler for me is the star of the show.
100%.
I love Tom Blyth. He's amazing as Snow. But every time Rachel Zegler is on screen, I am just my eyes are glued on Lucy Gray Byard. Like she is phenomenal. Every time she sings is I'm blown away by her voice. She is one of the better voices I've heard in a movie
Oh
in a
yeah.
long time, which has made me very weirdly excited for the Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs
Yeah.
movie that we're getting soon. Because I was not really excited for that, but now I am.
Mhm.
Um, just I've had those songs on repeat. Like I
Same.
can't lie. The old there before hit. Nothing you can take from me
Mhm.
hit. Just fire. Like the soundtrack is weirdly good, and this movie's weirdly a musical, which is something I had no idea going into. Like I knew she would
Mhm.
sing because I'd seen the trailer. I know that the Hanging Tree obviously came from her, but I hadn't read the books, and the Hunger Games movies are like completely new to me. I just watched them for the first time like 2 weeks ago. So this is a really tone shift from the first four, but I loved it so much. And Hunter
Oh,
Schafer
yes.
too. Let's give her flower first. He was
Mhm.
phenomenal in this, and Viola Davis and Peter Dinklage, great in this. Like the cast was amazing. The characters you're supposed to hate, you hated, except for Snow. Except for Snow, he's just
He gets a pass on this
too
one.
hot to hate. Yep. And then, the characters you're supposed to love, you loved, and you really felt the emotion and the journey. And I thought the mental downfall of Snow was done really well. And I was talking with Layla this before we hopped on. I would honestly love to see a sequel to this
Mhm.
movie. See what happens with Lucy Gray. Obviously, if Suzanne Collins is down to write another book, because I'm a big sucker on if you're making movies about a book, do not start to go off the
Mm-mm.
books because we saw it with Game of Thrones. Things starts to not be so good when you do that. So if Suzanne Collins would love to write another Ballad of Songbirds and Snake books, I would definitely read it and I would definitely go watch the movie because I'd love to see the Snow we have at the end of Ballads of Songbirds and Snakes still feels like a completely different Snow than the ones we have in the original
Mhm.
four movies. I think he's definitely on that path to become him, but I'd love to see even more downfall, even more just turn into crazy Snow that we see in the next four movies because I'd love it so much. And Tom Blyth and Rachel Zegler are phenomenal in these roles, and I want them to get more time as these characters because they really just were
Yeah,
fantastic.
I back everything you said. I know we were talking a bit about this before we hopped on, about like other potential sequels to the core four Hunger Games films, if you will. Um, I think there's so much more of Snow's story to tell, like you said. There is no way that that is the thing that made him into the man he was present day. There's just so much more history there that I think we could see. Jaden, what did you think of Ballad and Songbirds of Snakes? And are there any other characters in the Hunger Game franchise you would love to see a sequel story of, whether it's more Snow or like Effie or Finnick or whoever? Whose story would you want to see next?
Well, I think just to kind of piggyback off what both of you guys were saying, Snow's story is not finished, and it's kind of a weird thing. It's like obviously he's a certain character in the first four movies where it's like, you don't really like him. It's like it's almost as if why would I want a story about him? But what this film does pretty well is set up a story that's worth telling with his character. Obviously, there's a lot more to explore there, and so that's obviously with the upcoming films, that's what I would want to dive deeper into. But yeah, personally for this movie, it wasn't one of my favorites in terms of the Hunger Games series as a whole. This one falls a bit lower on my rating than I rated the other films. And some of that has to do with Rachel. I loved her voice. Absolutely. She's such a good singer. And I knew that was going to be the case, even given she was in West Side Story. Amazing voice in that as well. My actual introduction to her was in Shazam. So I knew she's a good actor. Absolutely. But what is with that Southern accent?
Yeah.
What,
Sometimes it did throw me off a
what
little
I
bit.
was like, it like I'm all for accents and like I think it's fun. It puts a twist on a character. But like I felt like certain parts of this film, even with the singing, as beautiful as it was, I feel like some of those moments were a little forced. Like obviously you want to put on a show, you want to give people a reason to care for, you wanting you to survive and whatnot. And I understand like the premise that they were going for in terms of like what the Hunger Games is and how it, functions, especially way later down the line. But I definitely feel like it was a bit forced here. But that said, I like how like the origin of that song that she was. I can't think of the rhythm of it in my head, but what Katniss like the
The
whistling
hanging
and
tree.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, the hanging tree. Yep. That was really cool. Seeing that kind of being woven into the story there. And yeah, and seeing that and how it affects Snow. Obviously, we understand why that has such a big thing in his head. In these first four movies. But yeah, overall, I had a good time with this movie. It wasn't my favorite, like I said. I think that Peter Dinklage, Hunter Schafer, Viola Davis were very underused in this. They were my favorite parts of this movie. Jason Schwartzman was not my favorite part of this movie. I
What?
love, dude, Stanley Tucci. I don't think it lives up to the Stanley Tucci of it
No
all.
one lives up to
I
Stanley
don't think so
Tucci.
either, but I still think it was solid. Yeah, that's an
Exactly. Yeah, and I
impossible
think
bar
and
to
I think
reach.
right, and I think that was part of it for me. I think that I just wanted more from his character
Mhm.
specifically. Um, but yeah, overall, I had a fun with this movie. Felt the runtime a little bit, but what can you do? I haven't seen it a second time, so I will give it a second watch. But from here, that's where I'm standing. What
I
I'm
will say that's something I agree on. Even with my second watch, where a lot of things became like better for me, the runtime was still felt. I think it could have been 10 to 15 minutes shorter. Even like that much, like that little of time cut off would have made a huge difference.
right.
And I think there were sections that could have been trimmed down a little bit too, things that were longer. I think the third part was a
Yeah.
little bit longer than it needed to be. I think that was the part that definitely dragged for me. When
Mm.
because the first two parts definitely did not drag. The third part did a little bit. So I think things could have been cut off there. But I agree with you. It's such a fun movie to
Yeah,
watch.
and the Hunger Games are just have always been such iconic films. And CJ, when you said like a few weeks ago that you were watching them for the first time, I was just like, one, how the hell have you never seen them before? And two, you are in for a ride. So how did your first watch of these movies? Because you've been rewatching them like already, like Catching Fire, you've rewatched so many times.
Already, yeah. I've seen 3 times in
Like,
2
that's
weeks.
crazy. So how do they like rank? I want to know your ranking. It's like you've only watched them for the first time
Yeah.
recently. Give me your ranking.
Okay, so obviously, probably not be a surprise after
Mhm.
what I just said. My favorite movie is Catching
Yeah.
Fire. Finnick Odair is my favorite
Valid.
character. Even after rewatching, I'm like, I love Katniss and Peeta, and they're always gonna be my like. I love them, and I'll always support them, and I'm here for whatever they do. But Finnick is just like
Yeah.
over them because Sam Claflin, hot. Finnick Odair, hot. Like, if there's one thing you're gonna know about me, just look at Top Gun
Mhm.
Maverick.
Yep.
The blonde douchebag will always do it for me. The blonde douchebag will always do it. I love Finnick. But so that's gonna be my favorite. I also just think some of the Hunger Games movies, like the first Hunger Games movie is 95% action. And the Mockingjays are a little bit more politics and action. I think this movie blends politics and action perfectly. Almost like Game of Thrones level type stuff. Like it was really, really
Ballad,
good.
yeah.
And that's why it's my favorite. Number 2, after rewatching, I think is going to be The Hunger Games, the initial one. It's just a classic. PETA, that's the best PETA movie, and I'm a big PETA fan. I think that's the best we get from PETA in that movie. And just the initial introduction to the Hunger Games, I think is done really well. And just the teases to what's coming next means a lot more when I went back and rewatched it. I was like, oh, this is hinting at
Mhm.
this, blah, blah, blah. Like, this is really good stuff. And then I'm going to put Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. After rewatching again, I just think it has a lot of fun Easter eggs. And I think almost not as good as Catching Fire because some of the parts drag. I think it does a not as good, but a decent job is blending the politics and the action of it all pretty well together too. Because even when you're not in the Hunger Games, there is action that occurs, which is pretty cool. Like when the Colosseum collapsed, like that was pretty good stuff.
Mhm.
And then after that, Mockingjay Part 2 and then Mockingjay Part 1. Let's talk about these together because they're pretty similar. Mockingjay Part 2, I really liked outside of Finnick's
Yeah.
death. Fuck that. That was stupid. But Suzanne Collins, I'll never forgive you for that
Mhm.
one. But well, that one, again, it kind of all has to do with the blending of action and politics because that movie has a little bit more action, but the first Mockingjay is it's a very long
Yeah.
watch. It's the only one I haven't rewatched yet. It's slow. And I'm not saying it's bad stuff because it's not. And some of the conversations that are had and trips that are taken by Katniss are good. And obviously, the iconic when she sings the
Yeah.
Hanging Tree song is really, really good stuff. But a lot of that movie does really drag. Yesterday, I compared it to The Last Jedi, and I think I stand by it. I think it's kind of very similar. I think it's better than The Last Jedi by a lot. But I think in terms of just like pacing and politics, and it's mostly just setting things up for
Mhm.
another movie. And I think it's similar in that way. So that's probably going to be the bottom of my rankings. But there's not any of these movies I didn't like. I had fun watching them all. I just think Catching Fire is just honestly not even just the best Hunger Games movie, one of the best like action movies, dystopian, that genre of movie that I've ever watched. It's just phenomenal
Yeah,
stuff.
Catching Fire will just always be on top for me. I think mine is pretty much Catching Fire, the OG Hunger Games, Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, Mockingjay Part 1, Mockingjay Part 2, and I think that will remain my order for a long time. Jaden, do you agree with these rankings?
Yeah, for the most part, I would say that pretty much hits it right on the head. I would probably only just switch, particularly with CJ's. I would keep Mockingjay Part 2. I would put Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes after Mockingjay Part 2, and then Part 1. Just because everything that you said,
Mhm.
absolutely.
Yeah. Some great films.
So where are we at with Taylor?
She's singing
She's on the
Enchanted
last
right
song
now.
of the Reputation
Oh,
set.
she's singing Enchanted on
Okay,
mine.
Oh,
okay.
she's singing Enchanted? Oh, see, mine got buffered. Yep. Nothing. Nothing. We've gotten nowhere. We're still
How
sitting in
long till
clown
the surprise
makeup.
song?
An hour and 10 minutes. We'll find out. An
Oh,
hour and 10 minutes. We still have a lot of stuff to get through. We have to get through Red, all of 1989 and Folklore, and those two sets are both very, very chunky
we
sets. So
tried. We tried.
it'll be a
Okay,
while.
well,
We tried to give you guys the reaction you all
we
wanted,
tried.
but
I was here
Taylor
for
was
it
like,
too.
No,
nope.
no. Oh well. Look,
I was really here for it.
I'm so like deflated.
Next time. Next
Yeah,
time.
I
yeah.
feel so like disappointed right now. We've still got okay, no, we've still got the surprise songs. It could still happen. We could still get it. Everything can change in the next hour and 10 minutes, okay? That's it.
We're gonna get a surprise song. She's just gonna sing me again.
No, 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 no. No. Okay, well, I think we've had enough clowning and denial for one evening. Does anyone have anything else they want to talk about for this episode? I feel like we've had kind of a not very newsworthy week or like anything really releasing to talk
Yeah, it's
about.
kind of been dry.
Yeah.
A little bit, yeah. I'm trying to think.
Hope your guys'
Mhm.
Thanksgivings and Black Fridays went well.
Oh,
Happy
absolutely.
Cyber Monday, day of
Yeah.
recording.
Yeah. Hope you get those
You
good
know,
deals online
I went
pulling
Yeah,
onto
for
the
you.
Taylor Swift store and like everything had sold out like in 2 minutes. It was crazy.
sounds about
Pretty
right.
much how that site usually
Yeah.
goes.
Unbelievable. Well, today this was a great episode, guys. Even though we are sitting in clown makeup, it was a very good episode, and we covered a lot.
Yeah.
We did. Go see Saltburn. I know we talked about it earlier, but like
Yes, yeah,
I promise you, if you're on the fence about it, it's worth your time. Like it's a really fun movie, and I feel like it's kind of flying under the radar with all the other movies out right now.
Mhm.
So definitely go check it out.
that's true. I feel like I should be seeing more about it online, but I'm not,
E
surprisingly.
Everything I learned about that
Besides,
film,
fucking
I learned against my will. Like the article that came out about Barry or Jacob or vice versa licking each other's coat. I was just like, what?
yeah.
Like, what is going on in this film?
It was so funny because when I first had read that, I was like literally looking for it to be this busing
Yeah,
film
me
because I was
too.
like, "There's just no way they actually
Me
posted
too.
this. There's no way they actually posted this
My
right now."
favorite thing about that scene is the letterbox comment right after I watched the movie, where it was like, "This movie does for bathtubs what Call Me by Your Name does for peaches." It just made me laugh so it just made me laugh.
No.
Call Me by Your Name is Timothy, right?
Yeah, gonna
Yep,
say.
Yeah,
Timothy, and then the cannibalist.
yeah.
It was actually the 6-year anniversary of Call Me by Your Name the other day, and I just want to say I really love that film.
Oh,
It holds
Huh.
a place in my heart. I
it's a
love it
great
so much.
film.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
great film. Go watch if you're gonna watch a film tonight. If you're going to the cinema, go watch Saltburn. If you're staying at home, watch Call Me by Your Name. Those are our film recommendations of the week.
Valid. Well, yeah, I guess with no more Taylor, that reaches the conclusion of our episode. Unless you guys have anything else to
I
say.
don't.
All right, I'll go ahead and close this out. Yeah, so obviously make sure if you can, keep in touch with Taylor's life. Obviously she might have something coming out in the
Look,
next hour or so.
this
We'll
might be a
see.
whole different
Um,
story in an hour, okay? You're just gonna have to just sit tight,
right, yeah.
alright? Just bear with.
And this episode releases on Tuesday, so when you guys are listening, you'll
Yeah.
already know. But we don't know. So
It's okay. It's
bear with
okay.
us.
Yeah, so definitely check out the Fandom Academy socials on TikTok, on Instagram. We'll be having clips coming out. We did our
We
giveaway
did.
already, right?
Yeah, but it's still open.
It's still open.
You
Yes,
guys
our
want to go
giveaway is
back
still
to
open. Go
last
back
week's
to our
episode?
last episode that will have the code phrase, I should say, that you guys should DM us if you want to be entered into that. It is for a Taylor Swift poster from the Eras Tour movie, I believe. CJ, yep.
Mhm,
There it is
mhm.
in all of its glory. But yeah, CJ, where can the people find you?
You can find me being annoying about all the movies and Taylor Swift content in my life by going to Twitter at CJDar_. And also check out my letterbox at CJDar. I've been watching a lot of movies
Mhm.
recently, and letterbox is my place to talk about all of them. So go check it out.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Layla, what
you
about
can
you?
find me anywhere at Falcons Net. I feel like the last 10 minutes of this episode, we just sound so like defeated. We were just like, this would have been such a different episode if she started singing. Don't hello. I did
I did
something
something
bad.
bad.
I was like, "Don't blame." No, that's not the song. If she started singing "I did something bad," this would have been a very different episode. Who knows? Maybe we'll record some bonus content if she releases it in an hour. We'll wait and see. We'll wait and see. But yeah, Falcon's not everywhere. Especially Letterboxd. I'm trying to watch at least 100 films by the end of the year. I've been really slacking. But I'm nearly there, so yeah, keep an eye on what I'm watching.
Absolutely, yeah, and you guys can find me on pretty much all socials at jaden.cmduran. I've been coming out with YouTube videos, with some reels myself, so definitely just stay tuned on that. And yeah, it's been good, guys. Just tune in for next episode. Thanks for tuning in for this one, and we love you 3000.
Fearless.